back to my channel, and today I will tell you a very interesting story. Sam had never been afraid of his own bedroom before. Last night, his parents had gone next door to the Mackenzies. "We won't be long," Mom had said. "Just an hour." Sam didn't mind. He brushed his teeth, checked his phone, and went to bed like usual. He was wide awake when it happened. He woke suddenly, shivering. The room was freezing so cold he could see his breath in the air. That didn't make sense. It had been warm when he fell asleep. Then he noticed the wardrobe door. It was open. Sam's stomach twisted. He clearly remembered shutting it before getting into bed. He always shut it. Scratch. The sound came from inside the wardrobe. He froze. Scratch, scratch, slow, careful, like fingernails dragging down wood. Not random, not an accident. It wanted him to hear. His heart hammered in his chest. He stared at the dark gap inside the wardrobe, too scared to move. The scratching stopped. For a moment, everything was silent. Then the wardrobe door creaked wider. Something stepped out. Sam squeezed his eyes shut instantly, his whole body shaking. He didn't want to see it, whatever it was. He heard soft footsteps crossing the room. They stopped beside his bed. He could hear breathing. Cold air brushed his face. He stayed perfectly still, barely daring to breathe. Then the front door downstairs opened. Mom and Dad's voices floated up the stairs. The breathing stopped. The footsteps moved away. A soft click, silence. Sam opened his eyes. The room was warm again. The wardrobe door was closed. When he told Mom in the morning, she smiled gently and said it was just a nightmare. But Sam knew the truth. He hadn't been asleep. And tonight, he was going to check the wardrobe twice.
Sam had never been afraid of his own bedroom before. Last night, his parents had gone next door to the Mackenzies. "We won't be long," Mum had said. "Just an hour." Sam didn't mind. He brushed his teeth, checked his phone, and went to bed like usual. He was wide awake when it happened. He woke suddenly, shivering. The room was freezing so cold he could see his breath in the air. That didn't make sense. It had been warm when he fell asleep. Then he noticed the wardrobe door. It was open. Sam's stomach twisted. He clearly remembered shutting it before getting into bed. He always shut it. Scratch. The sound came from inside the wardrobe. He froze. Scratch. Scratch, slow. Careful, like fingernails dragging down wood. Not random. Not an accident. It wanted him to hear. His heart hammered in his chest. He stared at the dark gap inside the wardrobe, too scared to move. The scratching stopped. For a moment, everything was silent. Then the wardrobe door creaked wider. Something stepped out. Sam squeezed his eyes shut instantly, his whole body shaking. He didn't want to see it, whatever it was. He heard soft footsteps crossing the room. They stopped beside his bed. He could hear breathing.
Hello.
Cold air brushed his face. He stayed perfectly still, barely daring to breathe. Then, the front door downstairs opened. Mum and Dad's voices floated up the stairs. The breathing stopped. The footsteps moved away. A soft click. Silence. Sam opened his eyes. The room was warm again. The wardrobe door was closed. When he told Mum in the morning, she smiled gently and said it was just a nightmare. But Sam knew the truth. He hadn't been asleep. And tonight he was going to check the wardrobe twice.
Sam didn't tell his parents anything the next day. What was the point? They would smile gently, say nightmare,
say overactive imagination, say too much screen time. But Sam knew what he had heard. We just visit that night. He made a decision. If something was coming out of the wardrobe, he was going in. His parents left at 8:30. Back soon, Mum said. Dad gave him a thumbs up. The front door clicked shut. The house felt different immediately. Watching, waiting. Sam stood in his room, staring at the wardrobe. It looked completely ordinary. White paint, silver handle, slight dent near the bottom where he'd once kicked a football into it. Okay, he whispered. Let's do this. He stepped forward and opened the door. Nothing strange. Just clothes, hoodies, school blazer, trainers on the floor. He almost laughed. Then he noticed something wrong. The back wall of the wardrobe wasn't there. Behind the hanging shirts was darkness, not shadow, not the kind made by poor lighting. Real darkness, deep, cold air drifted out, brushing his face. You came, the whisper said. This time, it didn't sound scary. It sounded pleased. Sam swallowed. What are you? The darkness shifted gently, like slow-moving water. Door, it replied. Door to what? A pause. Elsewhere, his heart thudded. Every sensible part of him screamed to shut the wardrobe and run downstairs. But another part, the curious part, leaned forward. How do I know you won't hurt me? We don't hurt, it said softly. We watch, we borrow quiet. Sam frowned. Borrow quiet. Your world is loud. Ours is not. For a second, he imagined it an endless silent place. No traffic, no voices, no noise at all. It didn't sound evil. It sounded empty. Why me? He asked. Another pause. You listen. The darkness rippled. Something pale appeared again, a full shape, just the faint outline of long fingers curling around nothing. Step through, it whispered. Sam's foot lifted slightly from the carpet. Then a car door slammed outside. His parents, the darkness shuddered violently. Not yet, it hissed, but soon the back wall of the wardrobe snapped into place. Coats, shoes, solid wood. The door swung shut. Sam stood frozen in the middle of his room. When Mum called his name from downstairs, he didn't answer straight away. He was staring at the wardrobe because now he knew something worse than before. It wasn't trying to get out. It was waiting for him to come in. Sam waited 3 more nights. 3 nights of pretending everything was normal. 3 nights of staring at the wardrobe. 3 nights of hearing nothing. Then Friday came. Back late, Dad said. Don't stay up. Sam nodded. As soon as the front door shut, he didn't hesitate. He walked straight to the wardrobe, opened it. The back wall was gone. Darkness stretched out behind his clothes, deeper than before, colder. You came, the whisper said again. Sam's hands trembled, but he stepped forward anyway. He pushed the shirts aside and placed one foot into the dark. The floor didn't feel like carpet. It felt smooth, like stone. He stepped fully inside. The wardrobe door swung shut behind him. Silence swallowed him whole. No house sounds, no cars outside, no ticking clock, nothing. Then slowly a dim silver light appeared. Sam blinked. He wasn't in a tiny space anymore. He stood in a wide, endless place that looked like a hallway made of mist and shadow. The ground was pale grey, stretching forever. Above him there was no ceilings, just a dark sky with faint, slow-moving shapes. Figures stood in the distance, tall, thin, pale, not quite solid, not quite smoke. Watching, they didn't move closer. They didn't need to. This is elsewhere, the whisper said, but now the voice seemed to come from everywhere. Sam swallowed. Why does it feel so empty? It is where lost quiet goes. Lost quiet, when your world grows loud, when doors slam, when people shout, when minds race. The quiet has to go somewhere. The figures shifted gently, like wind passing through them. We keep it. Sam realized something strange. He didn't feel scared anymore. He felt calm, completely calm. No noise in his head, no buzzing thoughts, no worries, just stillness. Too still. He turned around. There was no wardrobe door. Okay, he said carefully. I've seen it now. I should go back. The silence deepened. You can, the voice said softly. But if you stay, you never feel afraid again. The pale figures tilted their heads slightly. Sam thought of his room, his parents, Saturday pancakes, laughter downstairs, noise, messy, warm, living noise. He took a step backward. I think, he said, voice steady now. I like the noise. For the first time, the figures flickered. The silver ground beneath his feet rippled. A rectangle of warm yellow light appeared behind him. His bedroom. You may visit, the whisper said, but not to stay. Sam stepped through it. The wardrobe door swung open behind him and he tumbled onto his carpet. The back wall was solid again. The room felt normal, warm, alive. Downstairs, a car door slammed. Mum and Dad were home. Sam lay there for a moment, staring at the ceiling. Then he smiled. The wardrobe never scratched again. But sometimes, when the house was very, very quiet, he thought he heard something listen. Do not forget to like, subscribe, comment and share this video.
The road twisted into the darkness, thick fog swallowing my headlights whole. That's when I saw it, a small, unassuming sign that read, "Welcome to Larkspur. Population 521, awake and safe," an odd slogan, I thought, but I was exhausted and just needed a place to rest for the night. I pulled into the town square, and my exhaustion vanished, replaced by a profound sense of unease. It was 2:17 in the morning. Yet Larkspur was anything but asleep. The streets were filled with people. Children played hopscotch under the flickering gas lamps, their laughter echoing strangely in the dense fog. Shopkeepers swept their stoops, and couples strolled hand in hand, all with wide, unsettlingly cheerful smiles plastered on their faces. It felt like a perfectly preserved scene from a bygone era, except for the time. No one should be this active in the dead of night. I stepped into a small cafe called the Night Owl. The name seemed fitting. Inside, a dozen patrons sat at tables, stirring empty cups or staring intently at newspapers from decades ago. The air was heavy and silent, devoid of the usual clatter and chatter of a cafe. The only sound was the hum of a flickering neon sign. As I approached the counter, a collective chill ran down my spine. One by one, every single person in the room stopped what they were doing and turned their heads to stare at me. Their smiles remained, but their eyes were vacant, hollow. I backed out slowly, the weight of their silent judgment pressing down on me. My heart was hammering against my ribs. Sleep was no longer an option. I needed to understand what was happening. I found a small hotel, the Ever-Bright Inn. The lobby was empty, a layer of dust covering everything. I took a key from the unattended front desk and went up to a room. My hand froze on the doorknob. The room was sparse, with a chair and a small table, but there was no bed, not even a space for one. Panic began to set in. Glancing at my watch, I saw it was almost 3 o'clock a.m. I looked out the window and saw the entire town had gathered in the square. All 521 of them, standing shoulder to shoulder, their faces tilted towards the starless, fog-choked sky. They were perfectly still, like statues, their smiles gone, replaced by expressions of rapt attention. My phone buzzed in my pocket, a blocked number. The text message contained only 6 horrifying words. Don't fall asleep. If you sleep, you stay. That was it. I sprinted out of the hotel, jumped into my car, and floored it, tearing out of town. But the road seemed to stretch on forever, the fog disorienting me. I passed the same "Welcome to Larkspur" sign 3 times. The road was a loop, an impossible trap. Defeated, I screeched to a halt on the edge of town just as the first sliver of dawn broke through the oppressive gray. The sight before me was the final, soul-crushing piece of the puzzle. As the sunlight touched the townspeople, their eyes slowly fluttered shut. They didn't fall, they just stood there, swaying gently in the morning breeze. The children, the shopkeepers, the strolling couples all asleep on their feet. The town of Larkspur was finally silent. And I was the only one awake. The sign finally made sense. They were safe because they were always awake when the real dangers of the night came out. But now, it's my turn to stand watch, because I'm one of them. And in Larkspur, you don't check out. You just stay, forever awake, and forever safe. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like and subscribe for more mysteries from the shadows.
Do not forget like, subscribe, and comment. Thanks for watching.